Because if I constrain a market and deregulate it, then I can't have the benefit because of the constraint in the market. What is the exact situation today? The exact situation today is that the last figure I saw, Dangote is producing less than 10 million liters of PMS per day, average, as at today. Now, the latest figure I saw about consumption, and that is what I talked about, integrity and about ethical ambience, is that we are consuming 66 million liters a day, which to me is more reasonable than when we claimed it was 90 million liters. That was clearly corruption to me.
Right.
So the 66 million makes more sense to me. And therefore, I will use the 66 million for the purpose of this discussion until we are sure that we have validated figures from NNPC. Now, if we're consuming averagely 66 million liters per day, and Dangote is doing less than 10 million for now, average, you have to import the difference. So you need to get that clear. So if you are putting the difference, then landing cost applies. And landing cost is about 900 naira. Because importation is wasteful. The transportation both ways, the insurance, the port charges, the taxes in foreign countries. Excuse me, this is dumb. We shouldn't be discussing this. We should not be discussing. I'm telling you, we should not be discussing better things. We should not be discussing this. So that's the situation. And once you have that landing cost, which you know the price varies because the price of crude varies. So and if your landing cost recently is in the 900 region, then you have to add distribution costs.
All right, Engineer Novo.
So you're talking 1,000. So to get rid of all that, you need to work hard. And work hard is not work hard at corruption. It's work hard at productivity. And it's not just in the downstream oil sector. Because even now, we need a lot more hard work in the upstream sector so that we can have more crude. So that we can even give Dangote the 650 he needs. And the other smaller refineries, we can give them about the 100 they need. And in that case, we'll stop importation. Immediately you stop importation. Minimum, about 300 naira is off per liter. Depending on how efficient you are.
All right.
So the key thing about this pricing is importation. Now, don't forget that even if Dangote goes to 650, you may still have to import. Because the only thing is that you may have to import less. Because even if the 650 won't give you your 66 million,
right,
but you may still have to import less. So deregulating this to me may not be the right approach, given the situation where you have local supply and you have to import. Deregulation will apply if you have sufficient supply, so that the market is not constrained, so that the free market economic principles can apply. But in this case, in a constrained market, if Dangote is able to do his, in fact, Dangote is promising 25 million liters per day. Now, that is not even up to half of the 66 million that NNPC says we need. That's promise from Dangote. So you can see the challenge. It's not as simple as we think it is, because we have deliberately, over many years, been doing the wrong things, planting the wrong seeds, and now the fruits are here. So bad tree, bad fruits. Simple. We deserve what we get. We are reaping what we sowed. Thank you.
All right, Engineer Novo, earlier you made mention of the refineries in Nigeria. I mean, the local refineries not working. It's been over a decade. We've been having this conversation. It may look like we are actually crying over a spilled milk, right, or beating round circles, but we just have to, continue having these conversations, because over the years, huge amounts of monies, have been budgeted right, for the rehabilitation of these refineries. I'd like to ask you, what are those really benefiting from the maintenance of these moribund refineries?
Well, you don't need to hear it from me unless you are deliberately pretending not to hear it from others.
No pun intended, sir.
Atiku was vice president. As a sitting vice president, when he was vice president, not now, that he's no longer vice president, he accused NNPC of corruption as a sitting vice president.
Wow.
So, and you can remember how long ago he was vice president. So, and if I accuse you of corruption, should it end there? In other countries, when people are accused of corruption, what happens? In China, you get shot. In the US, you go to prison. So in Nigeria, you become president, and then we think we are smart. That's why I say we should not be discussing this. This is below what I should be discussing. I wasn't trained to this level to discuss this.
Let me dive, into your.
No, I'm not blaming you. The problems are there. They have to be discussed. But what I'm saying is that if we are doing the right things, we will not be discussing this. We will be discussing productive things.
Right.
This is basic. This is basic. If people are corrupt, the law, even the constitution, even before you go to criminal code, the constitution says the government must forbid corruption. It is written in our constitution. Before you even start going to criminal code, then people are corrupt, then they make adverts and place it in the media, and then they read the elections and say they are president. Excuse me. And then we celebrate, and then we go to bed like nothing is wrong, and then we complain when we see the results. Excuse me.
Well, let me come at you. Let me come at you, engineer, from the place of the fact that we have refinery capacity, right? Let's look at our refinery capacity. How do you think Nigeria can increase its refining capacity to meet, domestic demand?
Right now, talking about plant capacities,
yes,
we have sufficient capacities because
we do.
You have about 445,000 barrels per day with the 4 government refineries.
Okay.
You have about 100,000 with the small modular refineries. Mm-hmm. You have 650 with Dangote. So you're talking 1.1, 1.2 million capacity to refine.
Okay.
But what are you going to refine? Imported crude? Dangote was importing in this country, and the media did not shut down the whole country. Why would Dangote import crude? We are a significant crude oil producer, and we used to be in top 10. It was our irresponsibility that got us to where we are now. Instead of getting better, we get worse, and we don't mind. And then we complain.
Engineer Novo, but Dangote is a businessman, right?
Forget about whether he's a businessman. All the companies making weapons for America are private companies. They are business people. Boeing is a business company. You forget, it's in our country, whether he's a businessman or not. And if he's operating here, he operates under our laws. And he's our brother. He's from Kano.
Okay, well, let's look at the economic impact of this increment. I mean, this 50% increment in petrol price. How do you think this is affecting the overall inflation rate in Nigeria, especially when you consider the ripple effect on transportation costs, the food prices, and other essential commodities?
Well, the level of mediocrity in government is too high, and there is an index that nobody can debate. That index is that in the last, since 2015, so 9 years now, the so-called head of government, consistently in the last 9 years, have been people who do not have ordinary WAEC certificate. That's a fact. And if you claim it's false, you produce their certificate, let us see. It's that simple. But we like arguments for the purpose of arguments. And we tell lies and we claim we're making analysis. So let's face the facts. With that quality of leadership, you cannot compete internationally. Go to the internet. Donald Trump has an IQ of 145. You are dealing with a genius. Go to the internet and check. In the IQ rating agencies. Let me tell you, over about 80% The last Times rating rated Oxford the best university in the world. That's Times rating for universities. About 80% of all British prime ministers went to either Oxford or Cambridge, the two top universities in the UK. You people joke with leadership. You bring people without FIEC, and then they mess up the whole place, and then you want good results. How? You bring a driver without driver's license, and you say you should carry your family, and then when they die, you say it's devil that caused it. Excuse me? So we are doing all these things very irresponsibly, pretending that there are no consequences, and when the consequences come, we claim we are analyzing. What are we analyzing? This is shameful. I'm ashamed. Dr. Festus Adedayo said every Nigerian should be ashamed. I am ashamed if you people are not ashamed. I'm very ashamed.
All right, we'll just take a breather at this point in time, and we will get back with you in a short bit. Just got to pay some bills. Remember, this is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, where we give you an audio-visual radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. And we're still looking at the NNPCL, Dangote Refinery, IPMAN, and the masses. We're trying to unravel the petroleum, controversy. We will join you in a short bit.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Attention, all farmers, agropreneurs, and future agricultural champions. Are you ready to take your
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Have you heard of the latest car maintenance, overhaul and repair service center in Abuja?
Oh, wait a minute.
BB Empire Motor Services Limited is the place. We offer a wide range of services which include full engine repair, brakes and discs, lubrication, industrial spare parts fabrication, digital diagnosing, injector and rotor servicing, wheel balancing alignment, vulcanizing, spare parts of all cars, car checker, recovery of vehicles, AC servicing and repairs of all kinds of cars. You can visit us today at the state-of-the-art multi-digital workshop located at plot 1374 Cadastral Zone C16 along Julius Berger Road, Idu Industrial District, Abuja. You can also call us on 080-6433-3100 or 090-1066-0869. BB Empire Motor Services Limited, the solution for your car needs and services.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But I
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to see other audio.
Eagles 102.3.
And we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Eagles Outlook, where we are discussing NNPCL, Dangote Refinery, IPMAN, and the masses in a bid to unravel the petroleum controversy. And we still have Engineer Martin Onovo on the line this morning. It's not time for you to call in to share your thoughts. At the end of the day, he would, react to, the concerns that would be raised by some of you callers, and also get to make his submission. What exactly do you make of, all of this? And all things being equal, what would you suggest, or I don't know, the price of petrol, how much do you think it should be sold for? How much do you think? Now we're asking you Nigerians to tell us.
Right.
I mean, from your own perspective, how much you think a liter of petrol should be sold for? Taking a look at the economic hardship on ground. Just this morning, we got to know that the price of cooking gas, per kg is 1,500 naira.
Exactly.
Kerosene is, 1,700 naira. So it appears the days ahead are going to be very, very gloomy, which of course, calls for prudence. The numbers to call this morning to be part of a conversation are 090-8766-8888 or
0907-353-0044, and the WhatsApp portal number, which of course you should just send a WhatsApp message only to, would be 0909-705-4450. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, my dear brother Yudi. Good morning, Efe. This is Alami from Central Area. I greet our guests. Straight to the question. Well, Nigeria is a poor oil producing nation. That is a fact. I think it's people that are living in delusion, that want to compare us with Saudi Arabia that is producing over 10 million barrels per day, as against the miserable 1.23 million barrels we are producing per day for over 200 million population, as compared to Saudi Arabia of 30 million thereabouts population. And secondly, like I always say, we can advocate for the government to pay subsidies. It is understandable. But now, you can't even, when you say the sector has, the upstream and the downstream has fully been deregulated, what it means is that there is no longer any form of subsidy. It means the international market will determine the price, like the price globally. So let me even buzz the bubble of a lot of people before the end of this year, predicting we might be buying petrol 1,500 per liter. That is the reality. The only area that that we can talk of government policy would be to strengthen the naira against the dollar. That is just about the only thing that would, the only factor. But as to expecting that fuel price, even if you have 200 refineries in Nigeria, refineries has nothing to do with the prices. There are more than 50 refineries in the US. They are buying fuel more than 5 times the price we are buying in Nigeria. Give me one country with functional refinery that is buying fuel cheaper than we Nigerians that doesn't have. In fact, we're able buying it cheaper than they are. That is the reality. As for NNPC, like I said, the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reappointed Mele Kyari confirmed that the president does not want transparency in that sector. I have lost confidence, in as far as Mr. President, concern or Mr. President, intention, right, in resolving all of the corruption in the NNPC. Because the moment he retained Mele Kyari has shown that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not interested in transparency in the NNPC. Thank you so much.
All right, Alamin. Thank you so much for that. Remember, the numbers are still out there, and please, as much as we can, let's very much go straight to the point as we give and share our thoughts. We'll just very quickly share the number once again, 0907-353-0044. That is the number to call. You might as well want to tell us, given all things being equal, what do you think, should have been, could be, we'll talk about the real and the ideal. In terms of the ideal, what do you think could have been the price, all things being equal, for, a liter of petrol as it stands? Well, let's get back with you, at this point, talking about our guest.
Engineer
Martin Onovo. Engineer, you heard, what a family member, had just called into saying. It says, we should not expect so much in terms of reduction in price for the commodity, as other countries, citing the United States, even pay higher than that, as we speak. And that most of the time, these issues are not controlled by the president, neither is it controlled by IPMAN or Dangote or NNPCL, but controlled by the international oil prices. What are your thoughts on these?
Well, let me first disagree with you on that, because the price of rice in Thailand is not the price of rice in the US. So you need to get that very clear. The price of cocoa in Ghana is not the price of cocoa in Switzerland. So anybody telling you that because the US pays more, we should pay more, that's false. That's not correct. And secondly, minimum wage in California is $15 an hour. So can we do the arithmetic? An hour. Minimum wage in Nigeria is $43 per month. So let's not make those comparisons because there's no basis, and they are wrong. Every economy that has developed since God created Adam and Eve developed around its own comparative advantage. The comparative advantage of Nigeria includes this crude oil that God gave us, our natural gas resources, and our fertile agricultural lands. So that needs to be clear. The idea that they are selling $1.75 per liter in the US cannot be imposed here. Otherwise, you also impose minimum wage of $15 an hour in California. So this is wrong. Please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's just take this call too. Hello and good morning.
Thank you, Barrister. Good morning once more again,
Obasanjo, good morning, and I'd like to sound the caution. Please, let's be cautious, okay? Please. Let's go.
Thank you. I understand you. I understand the situation of the country.
Okay, please.
You cannot see with the level of how Nigerians, like your guests over there, or our guests that will be fish out a lot of things, a lot of talks. Like I do say it. I say it. Are we well okay in this country when things are going wrong? Sir, things are going wrong completely from the gas sector, the kerosene, the petroleum, every part of the government that we're seeing everywhere. It's so bad. But some people, why? Because it's selfish interest. Whether they kill their father, they will still come up and say, yes, the government is okay. When we read the Bible and the Quran, is that how the legacy has been taught us? We're serious people. Serious people will not come out and be doing some things like this.
So, Obasanjo, how much do you think the Nigerians, in the ideal world, in the ideal sense of the word, how much do you think we indeed should be paying for a liter of petrol and maybe gas, and let's just start with petrol?
Underdevelopment country, under like Nigerian, sir, a petroleum need to be sold at 70 naira.
70 naira, okay.
70 naira.
Right.
If a petroleum will be sold at 70 naira, sir, I am telling you, the farm product that you go, like I am giving you an instance, like for instance, I have 2 bags of yams, like 200, and the community or the village or the farm, my farm, that will go and bring those things. If the car or the vehicle that will carry my load will move like 2 hours to that farm, like now, how much do you know they will charge?
Well, Obasanjo, for want of time, we will not be able to go further. But thank you. You already said 70 naira will be your benchmark, for it. But let's just quickly run through this WhatsApp messages, and then, of course, we would get with our guest as he gives a very straight to the point conclusion to the conversation because we have other, matters with time. But this one says, "Good morning, UDNFA for short, and a very good morning to engineer in the house. This is James from Suleja. First off, let's get something out of the way. Corruption comes in all shades, and the major shade of corruption bedeviling the petroleum industry is lack of transparency and accountability, and most importantly, insincerity of the government. Every player in the industry operates under Nigerian laws. Yes, the rot in the industry has left the industry and the nation at large in a bad state. But then, where's the place of responsibility of the government in trying to fix things? This whole petrol price and sham is an indictment on the insincerity of those in government and a testament of their true intentions. From the lies surrounding the initial subsidy is gone forever statements to the NNPCL's 20% stake in a private refinery, while its refineries laid comatose to the rebuttal from Dangote refineries to accusations and counter-accusations over the quality of imported products. The truth is, the government and the Dangote refinery are part of the consortium holding Nigerians to ransom. Venezuela produced around 85,000 barrels per day as at last year and still yet refine and sell the cheapest petrol. It currently produces around 800k barrels per day, but still offers cheapest petrol in the world, right? And we see this one. It's good morning, UD, my sister Almaife and your guest. I agree totally with the submission of your guest. It is now in the open that the NNPCL has mismanaged our oil resources, and they are the cause of the economic challenges presently facing the country. I ask, where will the NNPC for refineries get crude to refine when NNPCL have corruptly pledged its share of crude for useless loans until a probe panel is set to probe the management of NNPC in the past 10 years? We can never get it right in that sector. Have a nice day, he says. Well, Yusuf, all the way from Wusaitu, right there, is putting that out. Well then, I wish we could take this one. Well, let's just squeeze it in. Alamin from Central Area is saying, as our guest, comparing rice and cocoa with petroleum product. My question to our guest is he aware that OPEC determines the prices of fuel and all the components in the petroleum industry, from the manufacturing, production and refining, are all priced in dollars? Please ask our guest to tell us the functions of OPEC. Right then, Alamin is putting up that out. Well, getting back with you now as a final thought, if you can, sir, maybe just 1 minute, you might as well want to wrap it up and tell us, your final thoughts.
Well, Alamin does not understand the industry. That's very clear. Someone just gave you data on Venezuela, which I cannot immediately confirm. There is data out there in the public on Libya, which I have not confirmed. So you don't say that a product that is local to a place will cost the same. The first thing we need to address in another place where it is not local, where they have to go and source it, especially when you have to source from foreign countries. So if crude belongs to us and you say it's priced in dollars because you watch TV and you don't understand what's said on the TV, why are we selling to Dangote in Naira? That's the right thing to do. It's a local product, so you sell in Naira.
All right.
And that also strengthens your economy. So his general statement that all you do is sold in dollar is not correct.
Okay.
International transactions are done in forex. Local transactions are done in local currency. Selling to Dangote in Naira is the right thing to do.
Right. All right. Well, sir, we would not be able to go further. I mean, we've eaten into the time for another. But then we are saying that we will have this conversation and possibly with you, indeed, because there's a lot to say, but time would not allow for us to. But we want to appreciate you extensively, and especially, for adding your voice, on this one, even all the way from Lagos State. You are Engineer Martin Onovo. You are a registered engineer in Nigeria and member Society of Petroleum Engineers, Texas, of the United States of America. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Right, this is where we call it a close. We want to say a big thank you to you. And indeed, as we ruminate on these things, we might as well want to stand in strong solidarity to hold the government accountable in whichever ways that we can to ensuring that we got it rightly, from now even up until the future. My name is Udwak Daniel.
And I am Omoife Peace Osemere.
Have a great day.
Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja, here to stay.
Hello and welcome to the program today. In the studio is our guest, Mr. Iniabasi Etok. Tell us more about your company and what you are all about.
Good day, Nigerians. Good day, Mr. Udwak. It's a wonderful time again to be in the studio.